right, I'm just going to wait a minute or so. I just wanted to come on and make sure all the technology's working. Make sure everyone can hear me and see me, and allow people to arrive. Hello, welcome. All right, yes, and hopefully I'll be able to see the comments and be able to interact with you. So, it's the top of the hour, and I am live here from Bloomfield, New Jersey, original home of the Lenny Little Nappy, who cared for these beautiful lands that nourish my body and my family's body now. And I want to share with you about my book chapter from Isis, Mother of Magic, and titled The Queen and the Sovereign Throne. I'm Deanna Cluth. I'm a womb consciousness psycho-spiritual metaphysician, a holistic life coach, and intuitive medium. I reclaim my lineage and spiritual being of mermaid from as long as I could remember. I was a mermaid. I am a mermaid and a mystic healer. So, the work I do centers around healing trauma, reclaiming the lost pieces of ourselves, really much like this story and mythology and energy that Isis brings to share with us, gathering up ourselves to embody our power, to reignite life, to resurrect life in our bodies, and reconnecting to our womb to do this work. Just want to check and see. I'm also wondering who's live here in the book club. Making sure we're still operating. So bear with me, let me just double check. Let's see. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to be seeing the live comments, but I will check back. Maybe there's a delay again. I'm not going to start and stop. I see the video is running. Okay, so I'll be sharing some prompts for you to marinate in and maybe respond in the comments. One is, what magic speaks to you most from the pages of my chapter or this book? And I will be reading some selections if you haven't already read it, so you'll have some food for thought. Number two is, how is Isis weaving the threads together in your life? And the third question is, what does your pillar of light look like? And you will have some more context for that soon. And interestingly, and I knew this was going to happen when I decided to pull an oracle card from this beautiful deck, Goddess Power. No joke here, no pretense. I pulled the Isis card, and how about that? Rebirth. So maybe at the end I'll read a little bit from that oracle deck, what the goddess has to say. But for now, um, I'm going to read part of the chapter. I'll share a little bit about, you know, how I came to write this. In fact, I'll tell you right now, when it first came to me, I did not want to do it. I even forgot about how my beautiful friend and partner had told me about this publishing group before, and there was no investigation. And this time, the knock, spirit kept knocking and was persistent, and so I said, I will listen, and if Isis speaks to me, I will come back to you with an answer. And that night, she spoke to me. I woke up, downloaded pretty much the whole first section of my chapter, and word for word, practically unedited. Maybe I did cut out a little bit, but pretty much unedited. That whole section was just a download from Isis directly, transmission. So, without further ado, let's move into a space to listen to some of this chapter. I would want to invite you to settle in and tune into your womb. And if you haven't done this before, or if you're a man, or if you don't have a womb anymore, you can still do this. So just take a moment to breathe and settle into your body, breathing down through your heart. Inhale and exhale, breathing down into the space of your womb. This pelvic cradle is a powerful portal of light, of spirit, of nerve endings with so many abilities to receive and give information. This sacred chalice that sits in your pelvic cradle, this space of creation. Breathe here and notice what you notice as you allow yourself to feel rooted here, as you allow your mind to be still and drop into a quieter place of deep listening. Just breathe a few more moments listening here. Understanding that these are the whispers of your inner wisdom that will never lead you astray. You can always trust this deep space of knowing and come back to this place whenever you need guidance, confirmation, grounding. So from this place of connection, listen as I read this short selection from my chapter. Listen deeply. She comes to life again and again, an archetype, breathing her memory into ours, until there is no distinction between us and they, of earth and clay, stone and gold and pigment. She is light. A long line of her priestesses walk before us, A chorus in strophe and counter-strophe tells the tale again and again as the Ouroboros of time cycles. In the sleeping and dreaming of generations, her presence shone as a beacon of expression, her daughters, a lineage dancing the song lines of unity and all that is. We on their shoulders soar as one, dancing upon the wind, onward, merging memory of power and of earth, of might and benevolence, of matter and spirit. From a realm of mystery, she emerges to reveal the way, and we respond and say, let us step into that mystery and know truth. We walk this path of knowing, expanding perception, seeing the dream clearly. All her shimmering magic starlight illuminates her entombed fertile depths and the primordial, potent, dark void within us. From within the womb we hear her. I am alive. I grieve and weep rivers, reknitting the pieces, making whole parts into the innocence of love. I soar and see truth and reveal where truth is hidden. This is my power, my magic, the mysteries of my being. My story is written in your bones and blood, within the trees and the leaves, hummingbird and sparrow, eagle and condor. If you know not what of I speak, you will it so. Unfurl your wings and see what you seek. So now I want to ask you, pausing here, how does that land in your body? There's a lot of transmission to absorb, so it's easier not to think about it, but rather feel it in your blood and bones. Write in the chat a word or phrase to describe your sensual experience. And I'll check back on your responses later, but I'll read another excerpt. And there is a reference to something here I want to address and share a little story of the traumatic loss that catalyzed my remembering my sole purpose of ministry and the beginning of reclaiming those pieces for myself. And there is also, beautifully so, this context of the, as my friend put it, this symbiotic relationship between man and woman, or the sacred union and harmony of masculine and feminine as I now understand it and teach it and weave with in my own life and with my clients. This section tells the tells of the harrowing inner turmoil of disruptive thinking processes and mentions the grief I was having during a difficult stage in my marriage in the early years of parenting. But the real big trauma was when I was 24, not too long ago, 24, 1994, May 1st. That's what I mean by not too long ago, many years ago. Um, May 1st, I had the experience of what turned out to be a 16-year-old young woman, um, who society let drop through the cracks and be influenced by a couple older teenagers and young men. And she was involved in this, what they termed to be a botched robbery. It was a drive by, and they were supposed to rob us, but instead she open fired and our eyes locked, and she couldn't stop pulling the trigger. She was so far behind her multidimensional layers of wounding and self. Her soul was almost inaccessible. All I could see was the fear and anguish and a jealousy of life. And it was aimed at me and my then beloved, who we had been walking very slowly across a bridge in Balboa Park, San Diego, after spending the day watching we were in grad school then at the Old Globe, San Diego University School for Master of Fine Arts in theater, and our peers were in some of the shows, and we attended two different productions, went to the closing and walked, and we were reuniting and talking about our plans for camping in Joshua Tree in the desert. And we apparently had been driven by a couple times and were attacked by these people. And my friend was killed, and I was shot, and bullets flew, and it was devastating. It was devastating for his family, for me, but he was the one that had talked about in his master thesis just 2 days before, or something like that, about the symbiotic. He held up an orange and talked about the symbiotic relationship. And I can't help but think about, the orange chakra, the womb, the circle of life, and this beautiful symmetry of and dance between the masculine and feminine. And so, with that precipice, that set me. That was a big wake up call. And why did I survive? And I very soon after knew that I was called to minister and change my life. So with that context, these deep, dark dives into the underworld happen periodically in my life, as I'm sure you understand personally. So I will read now this section about a more recent journey into those depths. Journeying into the deepest depths of an autumnal underworld not experienced so viscerally in over a decade, I found myself like Dante in the Inferno, once more plagued by a heaviness of ancient sinews pulling my weight down under the earth. As Virgil struggled to rise out of this realm, so I trod the well-worn pathways of thought formed in the cauldron of empathic experience, steeped in a damned world that had betrayed itself and lost its way. I had lost sight of my soul's light in this world. Not for the first or last time, I do the energy clearing, honing my integrity to hold a spiritually clear and therapeutic healing space for others. I accept and face what is, maintaining presence in my process. A layer of illusion ceases to exist. Unlit neural pathways are overloaded and obliterated. My inner flame burns bright with a deeper connection to my true nature. As the epigenetic veil lifts, the scales of Ma'at synchronize with the harmony of love. Tireless years, I sought to know more, to discern and clarify what I see and understand the messages, lessons. With support, I clear congestion in the bladder meridian, from the right eye through the third eye, up over the head, down the sides of the spine to the tail, up the left buttock and down the back of the hip and left leg, to the heel and outer edge of the foot, ending at my left pinky toe. It connects with the sinuses and fear. I overstand the embedded programs of fear, fight, flight, and most intimately, freeze in this feminine side of my body. The inflammation of introjects that split me apart. With the empathic memory of Osset Isis guiding me, I collect the scattered remnants for over 3 decades, gathering children left behind, and dance a parallel song lines with sisters of earthways around the world. The piece is united now. I am given the truth that the whole picture I hold in my hands of myself, my story, my lifetimes, all that I have grieved to mindfully integrate is yet another dream, an illusion not mirroring the entire capacity of my sovereign soul. I am grateful for that beacon of dark light, Mother, who illuminates the multidimensional truth of my being. The dark birther of magic penetrates shadow, transmuting the most dense weights into light and loving consciousness. Osset's truth-telling and the collaboration of a multidimensional host of helping hands support my practice of mindfulness as embodied response ability. Feel the feeling, but don't become the emotion. Witness it, allow it, release it. I surrender my shackles, these shards of egoic identity, fractal, fractured mirrors. Continually learning this letting go, I embody dimensions of sovereignty. Reclined upon my throne, my illuminating inward gaze perceives the resonance of truth aligned with the pulse of life and sovereignty of breath. I let go of my well-worn armor. The shield of a heavy, tattered cloak slips from my naked, middle-aged mortal body. Seated on my soul's throne, I ponder how harmoniously to wield this luminous power dancing through my veins. I'll pause here again and ask you, have you ever felt afraid of being your most powerful self because you feared you would abuse that power? Do you remember how you did this in a past life? We've lived through some dark times together, haven't we? Share in the chat what your experience has been with this. Here's another excerpt from the section subtitled Magdalene's Gift and the Pillar of Light. So take a moment again to connect to that heart and womb space. Breathing, grounding, just trusting you're absorbing and recalling and integrating what your soul needs now. And return to listening. Hi everyone, thank you for everyone who's joining live. Now, I'll continue reading from my chapter in Isis, Mother of Magic. Sai Baba of Shirdi appears kneeling by my right side wearing a white headscarf. He is dressed all in white as when he visited my dream some years ago, during which he handed me a light. Inside a lotus flowering room at the top of a lighthouse, he told me, "You already know what to do with it." I see that this lotus-crowned pillar of light nestled between two mountains is a beacon designed to beam an illuminating light into the world to radiate, ignite, activate, and balance the divine elements on earth. It is this same man, still wearing the white headscarf, who appears during the visceral vision with Mary Magdalene pulsing my womb. He holds his palms above my womb heart, radiating light healing, light generating Seiki, a receptive feminine healing modality. He smiles warmly at me and then focuses his gaze on the healing spanda blessing he is facilitating. As Mary Magdalene pulses and Sai Baba offers me Seiki, the light of my womb grows visibly bright and expands outside my body, all around me, filling my Ka body, expanding into the universe. This pulsing flow of chi leans into an ungrounded resistance on my left side, one I've been consciously spiraling with for about 30 years since I sprained my left ankle and gave away my sovereign power. I'll interject here. That was something. When I was about 19 years old, I let an unmindful man lead me around in a dance so fast and furious to the point where I became a rag doll in his hands. In his arms, my feet barely touching the floor, I sprained my ankle, and we could talk more about that, but I want to continue reading this passage, but that's what the reference was. It took me years to gather the pieces of that power I gave away there. Kuan Yin, Queen of Compassion, appears on my left side, wearing a blue kimono with her hair swept up in the old-fashioned. She touches my right shoulder with her right hand and gazes at me. The depth of her love, compassion, and sorrow for my condition melts my defenses even more. This allows a relinquishing of resistance, for the Magdalene pulse to flow down my left side to my ankle, where Kuan Yin now focuses her attention with Reiki, hands raised, palms facing my left ankle. Sai Baba is believed to be an incarnation of Lord Shiva. I'm amazed by this blessing and balancing of this Shiva and Shakti experience as he heals my masculine line with feminine energy. Kuan Yin heals my feminine line with masculine energy. I receive the message of sacred union, integrating the alchemical marriage of masculine and feminine principles, weaving with harmony. I feel the Magdalene love pouring and pulsing and filling down deep into my sacrum. The tip of my dragon tailbone, left hip, and the flesh around my anus and perineum, the light massaging my early childhood sexual wounds of boundaries crossed and innocent betrayals, melting through decades-old contraction and constriction, loosening, restoring trust. I open into the flow of Divine Mother in the embrace of this wild Magdalene Shakti. Suddenly, above them all, appear expansive wings, wrapped around us all, protective as a mother's embrace. Osset, the Mary Isis, lovingly holds us like her Mother Nut's womb canopy of stars, within a sacred womb field, as all Magdalenes of this lineage have done and continue to do. I feel the tips of Osset's wings touch my lunar heart as my womb continues to feel the gentle, rhythmic, wild, and sensual pulse of Mary Magdalene. My heart opens as my body arches, my knees release outward, and my entire being opens to the love pouring into me. I'll pause here again and ask, what does sacred union mean to you? How do you experience the qualities of masculine and feminine energies within you? I'm going to take a moment and see if there are any comments. If anybody's here live or coming to join later. Hi. Okay. Feel free to comment later at any time and follow up with any questions. I'm here. I'm here for you. So I would like to read the whole next section of Time to Thrive. Time to thrive. So dropping into that womb space, listening again deeply, perceiving with all your senses. Time to thrive. I know in my bones it is time to thrive. I affirm it is okay to share my joy, to be seen, feeling, and expressing this sweet abundance and delight. While we're at it, let's unpack all the baggage of keeping busy, the economy of scarcity that drives us to show how busy we are, to deem ourselves worthy of this light. It's okay to not be busy. It is vital that we stop to smell the blossoming rosebuds, spread our wings, and embody the pleasure of intrinsic blooming. Being mindfully connected to the life we birth from within us and into our communities is to take the time to be receptive to love and create the necessary space in our lives to nurture the inner flame of our spiritual being through the portal of our mother's womb yoni. This is the life we choose to be born into. The war within, that dream of battles, is the cause of all wars, polarizing both male and female. The projection of the dark mother as something to be feared, controlled, dominated, obliterated, colonized. The automated drive to be civilized, tamed, and rational, growing like the garbage on the currents of the seas, has successfully encaged the wild within an iceberg deep in the ocean of psychic unconsciousness. The unremembered, hidden, living in the shadows where light is absent. The constructs of resilient defenses against fears and terrors resist knowing. Truth is only what is tolerable. Do I have the eyes to see, the heart to forgive and love unconditionally all that I am, have been, and will become? Dare I look to see the dregs at the bottom of the empty void, all the monsters I have created of myself? I am drawn in by the allure of mystery. In the dark, my eyes adjust. We forget that we can see in the dark. The edges sharpen and then dissolve. Truthfully, there is little we cannot see of the world in shadow. By dissolving the wounded masculine's call to arms, a kingdom at war becomes a queendom of peace. Now this feminine energy is re-emerging with her story and her balm, metaphors taken for granted within circles. It is in these intimate subatomic connections with the archetypes and mythos that outdated maps can be challenged in important ways, ways that will make a difference in our life and within our collective consciousness for all life on earth. Let us all devote ourselves to the earth in this way. The enormity of these personal and global shadows reaches its zenith. The debris is no longer a hidden mystery. It cannot not be seen. Light is broadcasting from the fertile dark void of wombs into unlit spaces, illuminating what has been conveniently obscured for so long. How long have I slept? Thousands of years. How long have I been afraid? Thousands of years. How long have I been angry, enraged, outraged, buried under all that control? Thousands of years. All this control has broken our most important bonds, our umbilical cord to our mother nature. The sprites, as mischievous as they are, have never stopped knowing how precious and magical this earth is, these waters. We cannot unknow what truth we see once we see it. It may be buried, but the waters of our body remember and will speak of truth until it is heard again and again, even if it kills us in the process. There is always next time or now time. Why not now? Our soul reminds us. I affirm, I fear no more fear of what my soul already knows. I look within and listen. I laugh and cry roar and moan, dancing wildly, softly, sensually, and I will thrive and come together until I know what to do next. I will howl with my brethren and greet what's left of my shadows. I will decolonize my mind to see clearly, fully opening my heart to the left-hand Christed path of Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, and all the priestesses of Isis, Osset, Mami Wata, and all the mermaids, all benevolent spirits, ancestors, angels, divine beings who guide me to remember. Ashe, Aho. With gratitude for this life, all the lessons, all relations. Pausing here, affirm again. Say this out loud to yourself or type it in the chat. I will fear no fear of what my soul already knows. What was most impactful to you about this passage? I have a last reading, and thank you for those of you joining me live. I titled this last section of my chapter from Isis Mother of Magic book called Dance of Life. This is the last section of my chapter titled The Queen and the Sovereign Throne. Dance of Life. As I journey with the mindful decolonizing healing work, I lean into what brings me joy for support. Community with those who are connected to spirit in vast multidimensional ways and who perceive with the eyes to see the subtle ripples of probable realities, hear the whispers of ancestors and spirit guides, is an imperative action. In revealing containers of maskless mirrors, we will see ourselves reflected, our divinity, our sovereign, intuitive knowing. What aspects of ourselves do we need reflected back at us? Love, our fierce, resilient dragon fire, our beautiful vulnerability. What false visages must be dissolved to maintain your soul? What false visages must be dissolved to maintain connection to our soul, to spirit, ancestors, and the one who births all? Shame, unworthiness, self-doubt. Hearing our true voices empowered in the choir of our gathering, we embrace all the parts of our wild nature with love, acknowledge all the shadow residue of our wounding and false programming, and we tenderly cast off our chains in our mirrored chamber of thrones. We soar together, I and thou. Osset Isis invites us to dream this vision, to be the dream manifest, to dare to love and touch this life and embody our exquisite sensuality. Will we answer this call? Yes. Together, we hold this vision and make it so. Dancing a spiraling tango with our multifaceted power, married with our responsible action, will make it so. Light workers, priestesses of Isis, womb shamans, magic weavers of sacred embodied liberation, channelers, sages, awakened and awakening ones. What world will you manifest? What legacy will you create before you become an ancestor? What vibration of light will you emanate? You are the queen, dear one. No matter your sex or soul, the queen is a mother, construction worker, teacher, jeweler, photographer, designer. She is a fishmonger, stockbroker, janitor, a midwife, a mender of bones. The queen is among us. She is we, sitting on our swinging thrones, remembering the glee of our innocence and the enthusiasm for living. Queen, we live and breathe. When you shine, all life welcomes the harmonious flow. Let us dance and laugh together in delighted pleasure, enthroned within our pillar of light, with our beacon broadcasting the sovereignty of this miraculous life. And that's how I close my chapter. This amazing, powerful book full of wisdom from my sister co-authors. Please remember, if you haven't already, to purchase your copy on Kindle, buy your paperback copy on Amazon, read it, integrate, follow the prompts, follow the medicine, follow your path, your soul's light. And if you would like to dive deeper into womb consciousness with me and transform your life, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Message me, email me, go to my website, DhyanaHealing.com, DhyanaHealing.com. And there you will also find a program I am doing for life transformation. If you've found yourself recently going through a period of awakening and are overwhelmed by the experience of connecting to spirit, of sensory information coming to you that you don't understand, or distrust or fear, please reach out. There's nothing to fear. It's beautiful. I celebrate you. And you have gifts to share with the world, that no matter where you are in the world, what walk of life, what you're doing, there is some magic you are meant to sprinkle and shower upon the world around you, and in service of your community and your family, yourself, your life, your journey. So please reach out. I'd love to dive deeper with you. All right, that's it for now for my broadcast. Thank you for joining me live and for the replay. Bye for now. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I see here someone has shared an invitation to co-host Going Live. I wonder what that's about. Let's see. This is new to me. So I think I missed it. I'm not sure where to go for that. That would be fun for another time. Thank you for joining me. Blessed, blessed day.